Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. On the agenda tonight we have Ty Tabor and King's X, of course, and this is going to be them performing It's Love live, and it is cut together from different videos because it's just crowd footage for the most part, so there'll be times when they turned off the video to then enjoy the gig, and it does cut to some other shots, but we get most of the live footage in this. So let's get these guys up on screen and see how they get on. I'm just going to jump in here before the solo just to point out a few things. Just King's X, a three-piece here, and the sound that Ty gets, just his tone is so full and so thick that it makes that three-piece really, really full in terms of the sound that we're getting. You can imagine if he didn't have that tone that it would all sound a bit flat. Of course, the way that he's playing as well, he knows exactly how to fill in that space. Another thing I want to point out is the fact that Ty is singing and playing at the same time, and it's not just basic strumming chords he's doing here. We've got some really cool riff work going on at the same time as the vocal, and another impressive thing is three vocalists. How often do you see three-piece with three vocalists harmonizing with each other, all playing their instruments at the same time? Just a word about the sound that we've got here. This is such a dry sound. You can imagine if this was put through the desk with a little bit of reverb on those vocals and a little bit of reverb on the drum kit. I mean, the snare's sounding pretty good here, but just the vocals are so dry. It's great because we get a real appreciation of those harmonies going on, but just to embellish those would be really cool because it would just add to those great harmonies going on. And the harmonies work so well with the progressive nature of the chords. This isn't just a three-chord wonder here. We've got a really cool progression going on, and the fact that those harmony lines vocally are always changing, and we've got one line that will stay the same whilst the other two change. We're just about to see Ty get into some lead work, so let's jump straight into it now. And there we go, straight back into that great harmony part and halftime as well. Really changing the groove up here. And this is what top bands do, is they'll make a song. This is only, I say 5 minutes 22. That is quite long, but when you listen to it, it doesn't seem like it's long because there's so much going on in there. Those progressions that are going on with the chords, the great harmonies as well. Halftime mixing it up. Also Ty's solos. We had that short solo section there. One thing that you can notice with Ty's playing is that importance of vibrato, the way that he throws that in there. He's got that down really to a T, great wide vibrato here, so he gets all that expression with that fantastic tone as well. We've got Doug Pinnick on bass here and Jerry Gaskell on drums, and obviously they're absolutely essential to keep the groove going whilst Ty's playing this lead. But the harmonies as well, they're all getting involved here. They're all absolutely essential to this track. And how many other three-piece bands do you know where all of them would sing, having the confidence and the ability to harmonize with each other whilst playing the instruments? Some bands will just have designated backing singers who stand there. They might do a little shuffle and a dance to make it look interesting, but they're just there as a vocal. Whereas it's so impressive here that they're all playing the instruments, but getting those vocals down as well and harmonizing with each other. I always say it doubles the difficulty, and it definitely does. It doesn't matter what you're playing, whether it's drums or bass or any other instrument that you can then apply vocals with. You've now got to concentrate on two things at once. But all of this stuff really flies under the radar when you're watching a great band perform, because they do it so seamlessly. And also Doug here, really, we don't get a great mix on the bass here, but he throws in so many cool progressive bass lines, and something that really does work so well underneath the guitar to really keep it so progressive and interesting. Let's dive back into the track. And there we go. I love that little touch at the end, some Norwegian Wood by the Beatles, just throwing in that ending. And I think certainly this track, a lot of people would say it's the most Beatles-esque song in terms of the harmonies and the vocals that we've got from Ty as well. And interestingly, Ty's vocals, it's a really interesting mix, putting that vocal sound over the top of such a heavy metal kind of tuning in terms of, we've got some really low tuning, some really heavy chords, some really heavy riffs going on. And I know during the solo we've got that different footage, probably of a different night on the same tour, just to fill the gaps, but you can hear in Ty's playing that great tone that he's got going on, the great control of his vibrato, great technical ability as well, the way that he's really clear and concise. Even though we've got quite a wet tone here, he's still absolutely nailing every one of these little runs and the little expressions that he's throwing into these runs. What I love about his playing as well is that chop and change from major to minor. He spends a lot of time in that minor pentatonic, but then he'll go straight down to that major scale, major pentatonic notes as well, and he mixes them together so seamlessly and gets such a great sound with it. And when you've got a player like Ty, who is such a great melodic player, he's never overplaying. He might throw in fast passages here or there, he's got great technical ability, of course, but he'll always play melodically, and that is so important in a three-piece. What you'll find sometimes is in bands that have maybe a second guitar player, because the second guitar player might be playing a riff underneath that lead guitar, even if the lead guitarist is just shredding all the time, you've got that driving riff all the time underneath that's really going to carry the piece, especially if you've got that driving bass as well. But Ty, he's just the only guitarist here, so it means that he's got to fill in the gaps. You can't just really go off shredding because it'll get boring really quickly. You haven't got the distraction of another riff going on to then focus your attention on. It's just a sound that I really like, that slow wide vibrato that you can just relax into, and it just puts me personally at ease listening to a guitarist who sounds like they're in control of everything they're doing, and Ty is certainly one of those players. And this is one of those bands where it's just a total team effort because everybody is watching each other's backs the whole time. They've got to, with those harmonies, everyone is playing their part exactly as rehearsed. There is absolutely no space for egos in a band like this. When you're trying to get this sound, it's not about one person trying to show off. Everyone plays their part, and it's great to see a band like this who all come together for that good of the music. That is the main goal, is just to make the best sound they can. King's X as a band ticks so many boxes. We've got a great composition here. It's a great song, great melodic content, but also the harmonies just really drive home that melody all the time. We've got great technical ability like from Ty that I just mentioned, but also Doug on bass. We don't get a great mix here, but Doug can really throw in some great bass lines. And then we've got that solid drums behind as well from Jerry. And a lot of people watching this video might not have heard of Ty. He's one of those guitarists that is always referred to as underrated, whereas I think if you've seen him play and you've heard him, you don't really say that he's underrated because he's more just not as known as he should be. At least that's what I think people mean when they say that he's underrated. He's just not as well known. And when you watch him play, you can tell he's such a great player, great expression, great vibrato, great technical ability. He can melt your face if he wants to. So check out Ty's playing if you get a chance, because it's certainly worth it. Certainly not one of those players that is really well known, but there's every reason that he should be a lot more well known than he is. But thank you so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at. Keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!